or welcome back, and today I'm just gonna show you a little bit more of the manga that I'm working on, since I've mentioned it in the past but I haven't really delved too much into it, and I want to change that. Yeah, because after the goals sort of video that I posted, after that I was still mulling it over in my head what I actually really would feel like would make me feel accomplished doing this year. And after a bit of thinking, I realised that I do really want to get this story, well, a good way into the story. Not necessarily finished, I don't know if I can do that in just this 1 year. But I do want to get a good ways in, so I think that's what I'm going to start focusing more on doing, and probably on this channel you're going to see me doing a lot more work for that instead of just like random little things that I have been doing for now. So that's kind of the plan, and I have in the past made a little video as well talking about it, but this was literally like a year ago, and with that one, in that one I talk about more of the sort of different iterations I had for the story and how I was gonna start doing it, but it's changed a lot since then. So now I found a way to do it now, and yeah, thank goodness for that. But if you're interested in looking at like the different iterations I had before and just how I messed up without any planning, you can watch that video because I wasted a lot of time because I just didn't plan, and in the end I came to what worked for me, and that was post-it notes to get the story out first. So, and that's kind of what you can see in the background here. Those post-it notes are just like the general outline for the story, so that's what I started using. I just thought it really, using the actual post-it notes where I can move them around, it really helped me to visualize the story and where things are going to happen. So that really helped compared to like anything else. And after the post-it notes, I sort of took it into like an actual written format, so that's kind of where I fleshed it out a bit more, and that's kind of where the actual story is. I've got it all planned out. There might be a few like little bits and bobs in the middle that I might sort of just see how I go along, but the whole bulk of the story is actually planned out. So this time around, when I've been starting to actually draw it and storyboard it, I feel like I won't just suddenly realise I've messed everything up and have to start again like I did the last time. Now, when it comes to the story itself, it's gonna be a horror action, and my logline is: a boy living in post-apocalyptic London where angels fell to earth gains powers and has to stop a prior friend from further destruction as they are not who he once knew anymore. So that's a basic outline. Obviously more things are gonna happen along the way. It's not an endless story, definitely not. I wanted this to be like a substantial amount of pages, but it's not going to be endless, so I know it's got a beginning, middle and end. There was a point where I was getting quite into it, I think somewhere in the end of last year and middle of last year, but the problem is at one point my iPad broke and I was drawing it on that, and I ended up losing quite a lot. I lost all the Clip Studio files. I had some of the JPEGs for the pages, but obviously there are things I want to change now. So what I've kind of been doing now is like putting all the JPEGs back into Clip Studio files and making changes wherever I wanted to make the changes. So it has been a bit of fiddling around at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of taken up a lot of time, but now I'm at the point where I'm actually starting to draw new pages, so thank goodness for that. And I think I'm just going to show you on my iPad, just quickly sort of scroll through what I have so far. So yeah. Alright, so after doing all the story planning, after all the post-it notes and after the main bulk of the outline just on my iPad, I then went on to storyboarding. And at first I tried doing it in just digitally, but honestly I found it a lot harder. I needed something more physical. So that's when I turned to just doing it in a file and keeping it in this. It's also good that I can move the pages around in here. So I just started doing the rough like sort of sketches storyboarding out. There we go. And I think this really worked for me, honestly, compared to just doing it online. Just nice seeing it. I can move the pages around if I want to as well. And just, well, how I did it was I just did it, planned one chapter out, and then I did the actual chapter, like a final chapter, on my iPad, and I use Clip Studio for them. So since it's quite good for manga and comics in general, it's got all like the little features that will help you out, like drawing borders. So yeah, these are my chapters. Because at first I thought maybe I should storyboard like pretty much the whole story out first before I actually start doing the final thing, but I can't work like that. I don't think, I really can't. I feel like I'm drawing the whole thing over and over again, and it's like I'd have a really rough outline of the whole story, but it's still not anywhere near done. So I just do it like this because it works for me, keeps me more engaged with it. So I just do it chapter by chapter. And yeah, these are all very rough. Some of these have changed quite a bit as well to the actual final thing, just for a better composition. So yeah, I put kind of what I want them to say in here as well, the speech. And I think that's kind of, we're coming to an end where I've got all these. Yeah, I think that's the last bit. Yeah, so far I think I've got like 3 chapters, and I know I did bits like these as well, really rough, really small. So that's all my planning. Yes. So I think I'll show you some of the Clip Studio files that I have as well. Okay, so I'll do a little flick through of these. Now this is the first chapter, and like I said, I'm doing it in Clip Studio, and I do really love Clip Studio compared to any sort of other art program I've used. I guess you can get sort of like a little sneak peek, since like my goal is to be able to start uploading it by the end of this year. It's just that I want to get quite a bit done before I can actually start uploading it, so I can upload sort of regularly. But I don't know, I think there will be a point where it sort of catches up to me. Yeah, I really like this page. I think this is my favorite one I've done so far. I just love the details, like the little angel heads. Yeah, I have been really enjoying the process of doing this and just developing it. The hard part now has been to try not to redraw every single like little panel and chapter I've done so far. So I think this, yeah, we're coming to end. These are very recent. Yeah, so I'm probably going to work on this one today as well. Yeah, and then I just need to storyboard it out. Since when I take from the storyboards in the file, I just do a really rough sketch of the page, and then I do the page, and then I move on to the next one. So yeah, I hope you guys stick around. I hope you guys like the end product. I don't know, at this point, like, I feel like the story's interesting, but honestly I can't tell anymore. I feel like I've been thinking about it too much, so it's like, who knows. Yeah, here I'll just show you some little processes of me working on some of the pages. And honestly, I am really excited about getting further into the story, since I think when it gets to the meat of it, that's when I'm really going to start enjoying it, when it comes to like the main conflict and when the main antagonist is actually shown. So I'm excited for that. And also it's just really nice to see how far this like story's come from when I first started thinking about it. Since I think it's been, well, definitely over a year, maybe like 2 years since I first had the sort of initial idea of actually trying to make it into like a proper thing. So it's been a little while, been a hot minute, but I am still excited about it, and the way it's developed I think definitely has been for the better. So I'm glad I've gone with the one I have now compared to like all the other iterations I did. That, like, I think there was a point where I just wanted to just start drawing it, get to like the final product, even though at that point I didn't really have much of an idea where I actually wanted the story to go. But now I do, so definitely plan everything, and also definitely save all your files and upload them somewhere. Jesus Christ, I like lost so much, but you know, it is what it is. and I've got it all back now, so thank goodness. But yeah, it's really nice working on this. As some of the pages are quite old, especially from like the first chapter, there was a point where I was starting to like redraw quite a lot of it, but I just had to stop myself and just accept that there will be things that I see mistakes in. Things aren't going to be perfect as I go along, as I get better, as I keep drawing the actual story. So I just need to accept that and come to terms with it. So it's better to get the whole story out instead of just constantly redrawing and redrawing and redrawing the old pages. And I also really love doing like all the hatching, like you can see me do now. What I really like to do is use the lasso tool to select an area, add the paint bucket tool to get some of the really dark shadows, and then I'll leave some of the white bits so I can just use hatching with the textured. I think I use the textured pen to do all my line work, since I want there to be a little bit of a grit to it, not just completely smooth. I quite like that look. Since when it comes to the actual artwork, I do like that sort of rough sketchiness look to some of it. Like, I want it to look finished, obviously, and nice, but I do like that sort of sketchy look to everything. And just the hatching, I love hatching. And I'm just excited to see how my artwork will look later on in the story as I keep doing it. Since like even now, over this like 1 year that I started it and now I'm doing it, there's been a lot of improvement that I can see. So I'm excited for that, and just how like I learned to work with comics and manga so much better, since it all just takes time and practice, doesn't it? So the more I do it, the better I'll get. Maybe you guys can tell me now like what you think of the look so far of it, because I know I scrolled through very briefly, but yeah, I do wonder, since I feel like I just stare at it too long sometimes and I can't really tell if it's good what I'm doing or not. But I guess that sort of perfectionism really just gets at artists, at every one of us, doesn't it? I don't know if you might be doing something like some sort of big project like this as well, but it just like, I don't know, that sort of imposter syndrome, I guess, is just like, am I good enough to do it? Is this really good enough? Who knows? But I am still doing it and I'm enjoying it, so even if this one isn't as good, the next one will be better. For the story, I'm aiming for the chapters to be around like anywhere between like 25 pages ish to like 35 pages. I'm sort of giving myself that sort of frame, so hopefully I'll stick to it. And one thing that I am really excited about is when I have enough chapters to like print like one volume of a manga, I'm so excited to do that. Even if it's just you know, like a copy for myself, just to see it in like a physical format, I'm so excited for that. I think it's just gonna look really cool, and then I can, you know, hold my piece of work and say I did this, and you know, it's part of a project I'm working on. So that's really exciting to me. I know it's quite a ways down the line, but I don't know how many chapters would be. Maybe like 5 chapters if I do them like 25 to 35 pages. I know, I'll see. I'm just quite excited about that. I do wonder how long the actual story and the end's gonna be. Who knows? I don't know how I'm gonna go along with it. We'll see how many chapters like certain things take later on down the line when it gets more into the bulk of the story. But either way, I'm very excited. And I do hope you guys like stick around for the journey with me, since I think I will be sharing a lot more of this sort of process of working on this. And I know on YouTube I have been watching quite a lot of other people's videos of them just working on their comics or manga or whatever. It's just nice to see, you know, even if maybe it's not necessarily a story I would choose to do, or you know, like a completely different genre. It's still just so nice to see just people working on their things, you know. We're just all sort of collectively working on it, sharing it. Just a nice community, you know. It's also quite motivating in that sense as well, just seeing other people work on it, you know. So I hope you guys stick around, and I think that's kind of all I want to say for now. So yeah, that'll be that for today, and I hope to see you again in the next video.